Well, guys, Corey and I jumped into this one over at Summer Game Fest. Had a blast. Couldn't wait to get back and get into it on full hands. We now all have hands on it. It is the latest hero shooter. We're talking about Marvel Rivals. Everybody's played this. Is there anybody not recommending this game?
Ooh, right off the start, no.
Yep.
I have to say I recommend.
Yeah, this one's going to be a recommend.
Recommend for me.
All right, so we got 4 recommends here. Absolutely. This is right across the board. This is pretty easy, pretty standard. And I think it goes without saying, watch out, Overwatch, because somebody's coming to take the top spot in hero shooters, right? I think we talk a lot about how is this fair when we play Overwatch and how do we feel about it. Before we get to that point, though, Scott, I'm going to kick it to you. What are your thoughts on Marvel Rivals?
Well, I am sort of more adept to Overwatch, but it was the Overwatch of yesteryear. Overwatch 1. I'm not so familiar with 2, but I have a feeling this one's going to take a big bite out of its lunch because it seems to be Overwatch kind of stepped up in a lot of different directions. My main takeaway from the little amount of time that I have played, I've played a few hours now, but my main dizzying worry was the mobility. Everybody's kind of zipping and flying in and out, and that works mostly to my advantage when I'm playing Spider-Man, but it's very difficult. Some of the characters mash up against each other. There's going to be a little bit of a learning curve, but once you get beyond that, you're going to start enjoying the game a little bit more.
No, for sure. Corey, where are you at with this?
Well, I'm really enjoying it. This is scratching that Overwatch itch. I was a big Overwatch player when Overwatch 1 came out. Overwatch 2 was an all-in-all disappointment, I think, for most of us that played it, and I think everybody that in the community that played it. We were promised a lot of things, didn't get it. So having Marvel Rivals come in, Drew, you and I, again, like you said, at Summer Game Fest, got about half hour, 45 minutes into it, and when I walked out of there, I'm like, Overwatch better watch out. Like, I was not playing well in that quick little demo we had because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. But at the same time, you could tell they have the bones of a game there where I was talking actually with some friends about this game. And what came up was the fact that we know all of these characters. Most of them. There's some new ones and some ones we may not know, but ones that we're actually getting introduced to that's making it almost more intriguing to figure out who are these characters, these Marvel characters we've never heard of, right? But the fact is there's a lot of relatability to knowing who these characters are through all the Avengers movies, through all that. Obviously, these aren't voiced by the actors from those movies, but they're recognizable characters for us. Whereas Overwatch, we were just learning these people as the roster of what Overwatch was as a game. So Marvel Rivals really hits that kind of nostalgia factor for some of us, but at the same time, just a fact of relatability. People know these characters. So you're more intrigued to jump in and play as Iron Man or play as Thor, who got dropped on the weekend in the middle of this beta, which I thought was awesome. If anybody was into playing Jeff the Shark, he's also in there too. Didn't know who Jeff was, had to look up where he comes from in the Marvel Universe. But that's the cool part about this game is that there's all these kind of caveats. The list of characters that could be in this game is endless. We've already got 20 plus characters on the roster right now. I could see that doubling by the end of the game's first full year based on all the different characters that you could add into a game like this. The biggest thing just comes down to balancing. So I noticed throughout this beta, there are some characters here that are definitely stronger than others as soon as you get the hang of them. Scott, Spider-Man being one of the hardest characters to learn in the game. They give us a difficulty rating in 1 to 5 stars. He's 5 out of 5 stars, mainly for that mobility like you were talking about. You're flying all over the map. It's kind of tough to pick him up sometimes, especially if you're trying to attack him. He's hits really hard and close, but obviously the trade-off is he doesn't have much health. So I found there was some balancing stuff a little bit as you went through, depending on which characters you played as. And for me, the last week and a half has really been about learning some characters that I enjoy playing, not necessarily trying to play every character on the roster. I looked at a lot of people's stuff and it was just like, I don't know if these characters are for me, so I really pushed myself into learning 2 or 3 really well throughout this beta, and then maybe as I get to learn the game more, I'll be able to expand who I play as.
Oh, that's fair. Steve, how about you?
Well, I never really played a lot of Overwatch, so for me this is kind of a brand new experience.
Yeah.
And basically everything what Corey and all you've touched on, it is a lot of fun. I do love the art style, that kind of comic book, that style of it. It's very sharp, very vibrant. I find the game mechanics is very good actually. It's quite fluent, and I find the loading screens is quick as well. There's hardly any when you're actually matchmaking, which for a beta I was quite impressed of how quick it is. Like Corey, picking up certain characters. I probably went for one of the easiest ones. I kind of like the Punisher. I kind of like, it was just pretty straightforward. It's just shooting everything, which is kind of
My
my
first pick
styling. And also I do like playing Thor as well. But mastering each character is the way forwards, and there is a good tutorial where you can actually try each character and actually get to work out the abilities and find out which style works better for you.
I thought first of all, the presentation is off the charts. It is so flashy. It is so gorgeous. This game looks incredible.
That Marvel
and it
money.
plays. Dude, it is outstanding. And they've got some top talent too, right? We got Troy Baker in the game. We have Nolan North in the game. We have voice actors that we recognize. Well, welcome to the game because they're there, right? They have the talent to go with it. They have, like you say, that Marvel money, the Marvel IP to now extend this. I did get to a point where I'm like, okay, I played this. Man, I played a lot of this, and I played a lot of Overwatch, and I'm literally playing Overwatch with Marvel skins. That is the difference, right? And obviously some of the abilities that each character
Oh, it's a lot different
brings.
with everybody not having just a gun, though.
Well, yeah, no, but I do feel that I'm really, when you talk about the comparison, like the game modes are what's the same. That's the repetitive. Where's the fresh mode, the new exciting mode that's gonna pull me in, where I'm not gonna, okay, let's move the payload. Oh, okay, let's move the spider bot, right? Like, oh, how many times have we done this? How many times are you gonna go in and defend one area and own that area? I'm like, man, I've done a lot of this. Granted, I'm having fun. You get in there with a group, myself, Michael, and Scott, we did his live stream. Had a blast, right? Scarlet Witch, my go-to.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the easier characters. And Team Wipe. I'm like, whoa, it feels
Overpowered.
yeah, you want to talk about being overpowered. She's got some fine-tuning to come in, right? Because I walked in there and just went, poof, wiped them all out. I was like, well, okay, that was sick. This is going to get fixed, I'm sure. Right?
Yeah.
So there's a couple things. You talked about how they just dropped mid-beta. They just dropped Thor and Jeff the Landshark, which nobody knew who the heck that was. I had to do the same thing. Corey, look him up. I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. And I go in to play as Jeff. Dude is awesome.
He's great.
He's good for health.
He's
good for health.
Yeah. He's fantastic, man. I'm healing my team. I'm spraying water all over the place. Oh, it was fantastic. It was a ton of fun. The game has the life and the IP to pull with it that will overtake Overwatch at the end of the day. I kind of feel, right? That's where this game has the possibilities to really expand and get into this competitive scene as well. Not only just for us who are goofballs and don't stand a chance to doing the high-end stuff, but then the esports competitors when you get into that league. This can really, really go. Release date, though, 2025. The way the game plays now, besides some of the balancing, I almost feel like they're ready to go.
It's
Anybody else?
close.
Yeah.
I will say today I did play because I just wanted to kind of, before we got into this, kind of get a review of more of the menu system and that. Just kind of, you like you said, Drew, it's very flashy. The UI looks really good. They presented it in a way that is appealing. The menu is fairly easy to get through. There's a lot to check out between different characters, all their different missions and objectives you complete to get, different skins and the in-game currency, which I thought was pretty cool. I was able to unlock a couple skins for the characters I was enjoying playing as, which was pretty cool. Doctor Strange was one of my personal favorites, by the way, and his actually first unlockable skin was mint. It was so nice. But honestly, the thing for me is looking for the way this game played. I didn't have too many issues. On the first day, it crashed on me once. Did not crash on me ever again. Didn't kick me back to the menu or anything. But today I'm playing, having a pretty good round, and man, it was lagging like crazy. So I played a match, it was fine. Second match I jumped in, it was almost unplayable for the first half of the match, and then it like cleared up. And that could be my internet. We have been talking today. There's some weird things going on here at my place with the internet. But honestly, it just seemed like it was so bad. I'm like, there's no way. If my internet was bad, like I'd just get disconnected from this game, right? So there's definitely some things I think that they've got to iron out. This is a 2-week closed beta period, which is nice to see. They're
Yeah.
getting a lot of feedback from the community. There are a lot of people playing, like you said, Steve. Matchmaking is happening in an instant almost, which isn't always the case for a beta.
Yeah.
So for me, I think there's definitely some wrinkles to be ironed out. But Drew, I do agree. I think the presentation of the game is already there. So I think we're just talking about things needing to be kind of fleshed out in the back end things, you know, like just some code stuff, you know, some glitches that have probably come up
Yeah.
throughout this beta. But for the most part, really, you know, I wasn't, you know, taken back by anything other than that one crash and that lagging today. My experience throughout the rest of my playtime has been excellent so far.
I had one issue today jumping into competitive where it just kicked me out, and then I had to reconnect, kick me out, reconnect, kick me out, reconnect. It would not, like, we were all there, and the menus were up, all characters on my side, my team was ready to go, the team on the other side was ready to go, but I could not get into the game. And then, of course, now I'm constantly getting booted, right? I can't get back to the main menu because it wants me to reconnect,
Yes.
so I just quit. Well, now I get hit with the penalty. I'm like, well, you're not working. So that's like, what do you do? So I'll take the hit with the penalty, and then I just played a quick match and lit it up because I played as Jeff, and it was just fantastic, right? Like, and that's just, oh man, it's so good. It is so good at the end of the day, right? It's just, I think the promise of where this game could really go is kind of where we're at. Anybody else got anything left to say before we wrap up this whole chit chat?
Yeah, I just want to say I like the way
Steve.
you can team up as well. If you get certain characters to team up for the
yes.
ability. I thought that was
That's a
very cool as
fantastic
well.
point. Steve, that's something we've never really seen in other games, right? Especially in other hero shooters. The ability, if you have a certain character lined up with another character, so me playing a Scarlet Witch, if I have Magneto teamed up with me, then I get a 15% extra damage on my shots, right? So some of these, Groot, obviously, with Rocket, makes total
And
sense.
Star-Lord.
Yep.
Yep,
Star-Lord
right?
as well.
And then
Yeah,
the
that's your
Spider-Man
trio.
crew with Venom, Spider-Man, and Penny. Like, it all just... It's a cool little dynamic, right? It builds your team differently according to who is in there and who do you want to team up with. Scott, what do you got?
Think about the nightmare of what that's going to cause for the meta, and then
Yeah.
compound that on top of what's happening with is anytime there's going to be a Marvel movie, you know, we might be able to expect some sort of a tie-in, and then that
Yeah.
could rejig the
Deadpool,
whole balancing
Wolverine.
issue.
Oh.
Deadpool, I'm sure you know he's on the way, and
Absolutely.
all of the X-Men. I'm holding out for more X-Men movies, but
Dr.
really
Doom.
I'd like to see them just be dropped into this game. But then again, balancing issue. That's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, it is, but
That's
we'll let
gonna be the
Netties worry
hardest
about
part,
that.
for sure. I will say, guys, do we know of has there been an announcement for price on this at all, or are we
Free to play.
expecting?
It is free to play.
That's the winner already. Then, in my eyes, the game
Right?
could have issues as long like Steve said, the team up mechanic is different enough from Overwatch that it'll drive people to change the way they play. Drew, I agree with you. I think the environments, as nice as they look, they are very similar to Overwatch style environments. I think the Overwatch truthers are gonna hate this game. I don't think you're going to pull many people that are loyal Overwatch players over to a game like Marvel Rivals because you'll just draw too many comparisons. You know, certain
Sure.
characters. The Hulk
Yep.
is Diva, whatever. If you want to say things like that, Punisher, Soldier 76. Like, there's all these
Yeah.
comparisons you can draw, but realistically, there's just a familiarity with this brand that I think is going to pull a lot of new players in.
No, absolutely. We want to hear from all of you, though. Hit us up, itgtv.com. You playing Marvel Rivals?